We just thought we'd do a quick review. I'm not going to do anything on Adventure Island 3 now because I got another part. I managed to get through the first 4 worlds. I think there's only 8 of them, so we'll probably do another playthrough and get the other 4 worlds done. The stages don't seem too long, and it looks like there's 6 to each world. That would be the boss stage included, and then as is with that game, you fight the boss at the end of the last stage of the level. But what we're going to talk about is did a game called Adventures of Tom Sawyer just a couple minutes ago. It should be uploading soon. I didn't play this game growing up as a kid. I don't really remember it even coming out. And I played it, I think it was yesterday, and I went through it and got through it, and I could get through it without using save states, but save states make it a little bit easier to go through. It is a 2-player game where you can play as the first player plays as Tom Sawyer, the second player plays as Huckleberry Finn. And what it is the story is Tom Sawyer falls asleep in class and has these dreams. Of course, the first stage is a pirate ship. Everything is one-hit kill on this game. If it hits you, you die. And there are areas that you will start back out at, like checkpoints in each stage. And then there's a boss at the end of each stage. And sometimes there's a mid-boss in the stages. Most of them are not too hard. If you're used to playing games like maybe Adventure Island or something like that, your main weapon, which is a rock, it kind of flies in an arch, like in a little arc there going. You could probably do pretty well in this. There's these T things that you pick up. They're supposed to add, I guess, time onto the running time anyway, but I don't think you're timed on any of the stages. I mean, there's a timer counting upwards, but I don't know that if it hits any magical time that you die for that stage. I'm not sure. But that's supposed to increase that, and also increase if you get so many of them, you get a 1-up. The skull one decreases it, and then there's a heart, which you don't get very often. That's invincibility for a short time. And then there's another thing, kind of looks like a tree limb or so. That's a slingshot, and you have, I don't know if it's a limited amount of time or a limited amount of shots to use the slingshot. The slingshot fires in a straight pattern. At the end of the first stage, there's a giant octopus. I don't think he's too hard to kill. You just kind of sling him at him and get kind of close enough to swing him at him. Excuse me. The second stage is the only stage that's a little bit different. You're going up the river, and you're on a raft. There's a couple of jumping parts, a couple of other hazards here and there. Not too difficult. And then at the end, you have to face a crocodile or an alligator. I'm not sure which one it is. And you have to shoot inside the mouth, but sometimes it doesn't look like the hits are registering, but they probably are. And there's little whirlpools that come down, and they kind of try to knock you backwards and things like that. So you just have to try to shoot and it's hard to shoot in between the front teeth because it's really hard to game, but that's where you have to pretty much shoot and just hope that you hit him in the mouth. Stage 3 is a forest area, and it can be a little bit bad, but not terribly bad. There's some different enemies and monkeys and things in there. They look like something with sunglasses on it, but they don't look like monkeys, but the only thing that gives you an idea that they're a monkey is the stage, the level 3 boss is a big gorilla that you have to jump up and throw. You throw the rock at him in the face, and if you can do it like I done it just a little bit ago, I got to the point to where he was not able to attack at all. Stage 4 is in I guess it's like a haunted house. I'll go back to stage 1 real quick because I can kind of remember. There's a mid-boss in stage 1. It's a huge mouse, but you only have to hit him twice. I don't know that there's a mid-boss in stage 2. I don't think there is. And then in stage 3, there may be a mid-boss in stage 3. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember if there was or not. Stage 4, there are 2 mid-bosses. There's one that's a skeleton. All you have to do is just throw rocks at him, and then whenever he throws a sword at you, you duck it. So he's not too hard. There's another one. I guess she's like I don't know. She might be a witch. You have to jump up on one thing and then jump up and throw it at her. The only thing she's got is she hurls out like energy balls to hit you with, and they're not very hard to get away from. And then you have to hit the picture of what looks like the Grim Reaper in the face to move on. You keep on going, and you come up on a big blue statue, and that's the boss. You need to jump up and hit the open area on the scepter, and that's what you have to hit. You'll be able to hit it a few times. You won't be able to kill him off the first time, but he'll summon another blue bat that shoots down little things periodically. You can kill the things that are crawling across the ground. It takes 2 hits to kill the bat. The best thing that I can tell you to do on this bat is to jump, like right after he throws the stuff onto the ground, try to jump and throw towards his area. That way you may hit him where he's at. After he goes away, you'll resume trying to hit the top end of the staff. If you're able to do enough damage, you'll defeat the boss. If you're not able to do enough damage, the blue dude will pop out again, and he'll do about the same thing as he done the first time. So, that's all for stage 4. Stage 5, very important in this stage. You need to grab the red balloon that you see me grabbing the walkthrough. You need to grab that red balloon and ride it to about where I rode it and drop off, because if not, you're going to go through an area that's very, very difficult, and it's going to make the game very hard. And if you do it with the balloon, it's not too bad. Now, you'll grab a balloon at the end of the stage. I don't think there's a mid-boss in there, and what he'll do is he'll go up one side. He'll shoot lightning bolts. He'll go on the other side. He'll shoot lightning bolts. All you got to do is dodge those lightning bolts. If he goes over here, he's going to cut back across and then come across. He's going to make like a Z pattern either way he goes, or he's going to go that way and back across. When he's going across on the bottom, that's where you need to just throw him and maybe hit him. You don't need to jump. You just need to throw the direction he's heading. And you shouldn't get hit. You shouldn't get hit, and you shouldn't have to duck, but you should be able to get him once or twice as he goes through. And then you'll grab a balloon at the end of the stage, and there's a big ship that comes through, like a big Zeppelin. It has a lot of turrets that shoot out missiles and things like that. You can shoot them individually, but the best thing to do is just to start chucking rocks at it and just move to meet every gun that's on the rails and in the other compartments until you get to the end of the ship. You'll know you're at the end of the ship when there's an engine there. The engine does nothing. Just don't get close to the engine. Just chuck until you see it blow up. And don't do what I did the first time I did it. I thought, okay, engine's blowed up. I can just, they're just going to carry me through there to the next stage. No, that didn't happen. I died. So what you have to do is you have to destroy the engine, then go up a little bit, and then go through, and then you can go to the next level, which is the last stage, which is stage 6. Stage 6 has a lot of different things in it. You're in a cave. It's a there's just different things to go through on here. You'll get to one part where they'll start dropping like icicle things and other spikes and stuff like that. They'll be dropping them from the ceiling. You can just wait and let them all drop if you want as you're moving along through there. The ice part doesn't make you slide or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. When you get on up through there, you'll start hearing a sound like that, like or something like that, and that's signaling a mid-boss. And I think you just have to destroy so many of them, they'll go flying across the screen. Some of them will spit projectiles, some of them do not. And those are, you just have to try to just kill them as they come onto the screen. You kill enough of them, they'll make like a little ding sound, and then you'll be done. And then you go on, and it's not very far. You fight the final boss, which is Injun Joe. And he comes in, and he's riding on a green dinosaur. You'll jump up and you'll throw him as long as you hit him, because you'll like hit him in the kneecap or in the foot or somewhere like that. You'll hit him like that. As long as it's showing that you're hitting him, you can kill him fairly quickly and fairly easily. It's you don't want to go for too much. Like you can hit him a few times, and then you might want to back off and wait to see where the arrow goes, and then dodge the arrow, and then go back over there and hit him a couple more times. Other than that, he's not very hard. I guess it's Tom Sawyer's girlfriend Becky comes down there, blah blah blah, and then he wakes up, and the 3 feathers are there that he got from Injun Joe, and the 3 feathers are there, and he's wondering if it was a dream or if it was real. My final thoughts on this game. I don't think I'd play through it again. It's I don't care for it. I've played through it both times. I really don't care for it. It's not necessarily it's not a hard game, but the control makes it a little bit harder than what it needs to be. Sometimes the control does, because the control's a little bit off. They could have done better with the control. It's a little bit off. The music is kind of it's kind of repetitive in the stages, which the NES had a lot of games that were repetitive on the music and things like that per stages and things of that nature. So that's kind of expected to be that way. The hit detections and things is just sometimes you don't know if you've hit something or anything like that. And that really, like I said, as far as it goes, if you like platformers and little games, or maybe even little short games that can be completed within a short amount of time, this would be a good game for you to play. It's not a favorite of mine. I don't really like it for the reasons I listed. The enemies and things like that, and how the game is, and things of that nature. It's just, there's not enough there to keep me interested and entertained for a very long amount of time. And thank goodness the game's as short as it is, because if it wasn't that short, I don't know that I would sit there and go through it like I just did. I don't know that I would do that, because it's not to say it's a horrible game, but it's one of the worst ones I've played in a long time. And I would give it one shot, just to see how it is, just to, if you've never played it, give it a chance and just play it maybe one time through or something, or just play a couple of stages through and see if it's something that you really want to do. Because again, like Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. The ending's not, or like Adventures of Dino Riki or whatever, Dino Riki or whatever it is. It's not. The ending's really not worth playing through the entire game just to get the ending. I mean, because the ending is so short and there's just nothing there, and it's just there's a lot of other stuff that could be better on the game and everything, and it's just like I said, it's good for a playthrough. I wouldn't play through it no more than once. If you have problems beating it, I wouldn't worry too much about going through it or anything like that. So it's just one of those that I just don't really care for, don't really like, and I give you the reasons why. I'm going to try to do a video for Afterburner and Afterburner 2, and we'll try to release those, and we'll try to get those done so that you can at least see both of the games. Probably won't be too much of a playthrough, and then we'll go on from there, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to have those released as well, and then what we're going to also try to do is we're going to try to have the Adventures of Lolo 2 and the Adventures of Lolo 3. We're going to try to do playthroughs on those. I'm not going to necessarily put them on Friday Night Flashbacks because it's going to take a little while to get those playthroughs done because there are probably almost 100 levels to each game, and that takes an awful long time to do, and we're just going to try to take them in sections. We're not going to use any password things. We'll just save them, and we'll just go on up through there. And we may have some help either with a walkthrough or with one of the people off stream or so. And because I'm not that great at puzzle games, and some of these other people are better at them than I am, so they are probably going to help me out. So, but until we see you next time,